Hello, this is Jason Cooper. You're listening to the Holy Air Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Holy Hour. This is Gavin. Thanks so much for joining us. This is a podcast devoted to The Cure, and this is kind of a finale episode of sorts. If you've been listening, we've been doing a bit of a series here on the Holy Hour where Arusha Baker, director, producer of the upcoming film Push, a Cure fan documentary, took on the duties of reporting to us when the 2016 tour first started back in May, and has been giving you all this great material and first-hand accounts of the live shows for about the last 2.5 months. And then if you listen to last episode, our paths cross, and these final 3 shows of the tour, as far as we're concerned, and we met up in Charlotte, and we're able to talk some Cure and enjoy a good night of Cure conversation and music. But it didn't end there. Donald and Matt went back to Virginia, and Arusha headed south. I did not race home that evening like I had planned, but ended up staying the night there and staying up till about 3:30 with Donald and Matt talking shit, as you heard in the last episode, but did scurry out early that next morning. So I'm going to give you my account of everything that pretty much happened from that moment on through the next day, and then Arusha will give you her final testament for the 2016 tour, since it was both my one of two of 2 nights and her 60th night of this tour, or however long it's been. So we both didn't go to the Miami shows after this, so this was the last show, and we didn't cross paths on this night, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, so we'll get best of both worlds, my wrap up and details of the evening, and Arusha's perspective, along with some fan commentary that she was able to capture while having a great time in Atlanta. So here we are. It was about 9 a.m., I believe, when I woke up in the shittiest of shitty hotels in Charlotte. Something that didn't get documented in the last episode, and I did take photos of it in case it came up in court later. But there was blood on the doors in that hotel room. Blood on the sink, blood on the floor. Looked like a Dexter kill room, practically. So, man, big spenders in Charlotte. You would think, I don't know, but I got the hell out of there that morning. It wasn't my blood, it wasn't Donald or Matt's blood, and luckily I saw it before I went to sleep, or I would have really worried what happened in the middle of the night. But we all are still alive, I'm happy to say, and I got out of there pretty quick and raced back because I needed to get back to Asheville to pick up our child from daycare to take him to another friend's house. We'd never left our child with a friend before. We never leave him anywhere, hardly. We've only had 3 days away from him with family in his 3 years of life. So this was very stressful for me. But our trusted friends, Craig, who you know from an earlier episode of The Holy Hour, him and his lovely wife were able to watch Henson, and he had a great time, it turned out. So he had his first sleepover. But we had the race to get him there, which was about half hour west of Asheville, North Carolina, and then we hit the road straight for Atlanta. Atlanta, what can I say? It was hot. That's going to be a reoccurring theme of this evening. And, 2 things I always associate with Atlanta, the heat and the traffic. Every time I've gone to Atlanta, the traffic has been horrible. Almost parallel to my near home of DC, where there's always traffic no matter what you're doing. And sure enough, as we're rolling into the city, it's starting to get crunch time. Somehow with the whole day we still ran out of hours, and ended up arriving in Atlanta just in time to hit some great Atlanta traffic, and it was 1,000 degrees outside, but we got into the hotel pretty good and safely, and raced to find a good restaurant. We did find a good Asian restaurant, Jesus, probably mispronouncing it, but it was really good. and real nice staff. So we had a good dinner, and then we tried our first Uber experience. Everybody keeps talking about how great Uber is, and we just never really had a reason to use it. No reason to doubt that it would be a great experience, but we've never been big on taxis or anything. It just always seems to turn out to be a bigger pain in the ass than it's worth, and you get ripped off. And anyway, everyone talks up Uber so much. We're like, all right, let's do it. Let's that way we can have some drinks and just enjoy the show, not have to worry about driving around. Which, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best idea to test Uber out on a pavilion show, but the first part went pretty good. The Uber picked us right up outside the Asian restaurant there, and smooth sailing. It was only about 3 miles from it, apparently. But I was a little confused, and he didn't quite know where to drop us off. We ended up in a pretty long line waiting. And then we got to the end of the line, and the guy at the gate was like, yeah, you can't drop people off here. Or we're like, oh. So we just jumped out, ended up walking almost a mile anyway, so it was kind of pointless. We could have just parked out there and walked the rest of the distance. But anyway, we didn't hold that one against him. First ride's free, whatever. So we're there. Don't have to worry about parking. Missed the beginning of Twilight Sad because of this guy, though. We were sitting in there. So I was a little sad because I was a little Twilighted sad. And I wanted my wife to see them because they are so good live. And our seats were way better than with Donald and Matt. So I was already psyched for that. And just seeing Twilight Sad closer up was amazing. And really just able to get the full experience that way, where there's a little bit more of the blasting that you want with a band like that, and just to see his Ian Curtis like mannerisms like we talked about last episode. Got to see that a lot clearer, and it seemed like everybody was digging it, and a lot of people were still in. Still feel a little bad for them because it's like playing in the daytime, and any kind of big pavilion show, they're kind of there to be the filing in music when they're a way better band than that. But I think they've probably won over a ton of fans on this tour, and I couldn't be happier. I hope they get all the recognition and praise that they deserve. I think they've done just a brilliant job, as we've mentioned and Arusha's mentioned, in this whole tour. So good on them. Keep an eye out for those kids. They're going to be huge. So yeah, our seats were way better. We got there. We got our $13 Yinglings or whatever the hell we were drinking, and spent some cash quick. But it was cool. And just sitting there, first run-in was real great. Just about 3 rows up was Melissa, who's commented on the podcast and sent in questions a few episodes back, and so we've been talking, and it was great to finally meet Melissa and just say a quick hello, and could tell we were both just super excited to see the show, and it was pretty neat that we ended up that close together in the section there, and I could tell she was having a great time. So it was great to meet you, Melissa, if you're listening. And then the show started, and it was weird. It was still daylight, but the Twinkles came, Plain Song opened up. I knew we were in for a more diverse show than the Charlotte singles right off the bat there, and Plain Song was amazing. It's always the perfect opener. The heat jokes came right off the bat. As soon as he finished singing, Robert was like, I never imagined that I'd be singing this song in this kind of weather, referring to all the cold references in the song, and far from it. So he was already feeling the heat. And it started out Disintegration heavy, which I was excited that it was going to be that set, but from what I'd seen of other set lists and stuff, that didn't necessarily mean it was going to be a set pattern or anything. But you can't complain with a heavy Disintegration set list by any means. They came out with Plain Song, went into Pictures of You. I believe like Closed Down and Last Dance might have been pretty close up in there too. I think maybe they sprinkled High in early on. Don't have the set list pulled up right in front of me. Maybe I'll do that real quick. But yeah, just a way better set list. I mean, I loved the singles the other night, even though the hard part, and I don't even know if we said this with the singles, so with all that talking of the last episode, it's great to hear all those songs, and we all love the singles. But part of all this build-up and everything's been great in the sense that you don't know what's coming next, but if you know that it's a theme of a singles set list, then it already eliminates like a ton of songs. So it was a little sad in that perspective of that part of the fun of a Cure set is not knowing what's coming next. And when you know that it has to be a single just to fit with the theme, then that already rolls out, one, all the super rare, weird B-sides they've been playing and stuff, and two, just any deep cuts, that you're kind of hoping to see. So that was probably the bigger letdown, that while listening back to the other episode, I don't think we really officially touched on that, but it probably went without saying. But anyway, this set was kind of the flip of that, where although they still didn't play a lot of the crazy rare songs that we were all hoping for, like Exploding Boy or, Twilight Garden, but we got a lot of those cool standards that, you just want to see at a Cure show, like the song Push, just those Disintegration ones like I mentioned, A Night Like This, Edge of the Deep Green Sea, Want was super cool. For one of the encores they came out with Shake Dog Shake. The two rarest songs they played would be Jupiter Crash and Perfect Girl. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't be super crazy about Jupiter Crash, and I'm not even normally, but I thought that sounded great, and like they had a really cool visual behind it. During that song it was just like an ocean and with a lightning storm going, so it was really cool, and I thought they sounded great doing that song. So I was pumped to hear Jupiter Crash, and Perfect Girl was amazing. So I was glad that we got at least one of the crazy rare ones that people have been seeing, and I was envious of for sure. So Perfect Girl sounded perfect to me. A cool other thing that hit me while watching that even was they came out and did a weird encore, or from what I could tell, weird, to just compare another set list of Lullaby, Fascination Street, and ended with a Forest. And it was like, hearing Lullaby and Fascination Street were really strange in that context. Well, like my initial reaction was like, I've heard these live a billion times. It would be cool to hear something a little more rare, especially Fascination Street. But then, I was able to hit a switch in my head and realize it's like, I'm not, part of Arusha's crew that gets to travel around and see them all the time, every, show and stuff. So it was like, dawned on me, it's easy to take songs like that for granted, even though I've seen live clips and even pretty much played Fascination Street at every live show I have gone to. And, I've listened to the song a billion times, of course, and it's easy to take those songs for granted, and not realize what just an awesome fucking song it is when you really see them passionately playing it on stage. And it takes me back to all those memories of those songs and how long that this song has been in rotation on the soundtrack of my life, even though it's not one that's super personal to my heart, it's just always been there, and it's easy to just be like, Fascination Street, but just seeing them crush it was just like, man, this is a fucking great song. And just one of those things it's easy to kind of dismiss and say, of course we wish they'd play Exploding Boy or something over it instead, but at the same time, it's easy to get picky with these things, and we shouldn't take them for granted, I think, is what I'm getting at. But so yeah, there you go. Blah blah blah. But I loved it. I had a great time, and more hot jokes were in there. Arusha's got a good clip of a radiator comment. He came out comparing his hot guitar to a radiator. And then I think he even just said it's so fucking hot in between one of the songs. And it was definitely referred to quite a bit. I think he said something about how you need to go on vacation to Greenland. If you live in Atlanta, we would love it there because it's so much cooler temperature wise. So yeah, the show wrapped up. It was an amazing set list. I couldn't have been happier. I've lost my voice screaming and singing along. My wife had a great time. She was definitely into it as well, and just blown away that a 3-hour long show could be that action packed and hold your attention that long. And even though she had her doubts at times too, like 3 hours, good lord. But she loves The Cure, but definitely not as diehard, I guess, as me or others, But she had a great time. And so we're winding down, right? And I'm like, all right, I'll try to meet up with Arusha. We had even texted a few times. in between, and we're trying to cross paths just to get like a quick hey in and thumbs up, and would have been nice to just officially say goodbye and thanks another time. But so the fucking batteries on my phone, I don't know what it is. It did it both nights. I don't know if I just get into some roaming area or something. Maybe normal people know this about cell phones, but I've never cared to investigate it enough. I mean, I know if I put it in like airplane mode, it would have lasted longer or something, but it was just draining so fast. So I was losing battery power in my phone quickly, but I was able to get enough texts out to Arusha. I was like, let's meet. I was like, by the t-shirt stand, because look, there's a giant t-shirt stand right on my side, the entrance there. It didn't really dawn on me. There's probably like 6 t-shirt stands, dirt. So I was like, all right, we got out there, and wife's, definitely getting a little antsy just to go because she hates, getting stuck in the crowd, and knew that we need to get on this Uber thing as soon as possible because she's smart. But I was like, no, let's just hang in there a few more minutes. And no, Arusha, she's texting me going, where the hell are you? And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll go over to this Bud Light stand by the t-shirt stand to get 2 points of reference in. But, again, there's probably a billion Bud Light stands by t-shirt stands. Derp. But, so we're looking for Arusha, no signs. I'm like, shit, we got to roll. I'm down to like 1% on my phone now, and I realize we haven't called the Uber. I'm like, oh, crap, if the phone dies, we have like no idea where we are or how to get back. Probably long gone with any real taxis. So I had to bail and just say, we're making our way to the gate, Arusha. If I see you out there, I'll see ya, but I gotta call this cab, which only is the beginning of my problem, really. So unfortunately, that's where we missed Arusha and gang there. So sorry about that, and I hope I didn't hold up your evening too long, but I would have really liked to say thanks and goodbye in person to you and Megan and Jennifer. It was really nice to meet them the night before and still get to hear your stories through the podcast here. But so thanks again, and sorry about that. But we got out there, no taxis, no Uber. We're like, fuck it. All right, let's call. It says high volume. It's going to be at least $25, but we're desperate. We're like, all right, we click it. The person coming to get us had like no clue, apparently, how to pick people up from the pavilion. This has never happened in the history of Uber, apparently. But she's like, all right, go to the Chevron station, which, wasn't far in hindsight after I finally found where the Chevron station is, but I didn't know where the hell it was. I was like, what? And she's like, all right, I'll come to find you out front. And we're like, okay. So we're waiting. Car pulls up, hollers from across, a good distance, saying, come on, I'm your Uber ride, get in. We're like, all right, sweet, because we told them what we were wearing and everything. And so we race over, we jump in, and they're like, all right, we got to pick up the other people. I was like, this is a little weird. I don't remember hitting the share ride button, but I was like, whatever, we're desperate, we'll share a ride with somebody. And so we picked them up, and they're like, we gotta get another person. I'm like, wow, we're cramming a lot of people in here. And then she's like, wait a minute, I got the wrong people. And I was like, wow, it's gonna suck for these people, they're gonna have to find another ride. And then she was like, no, you guys, you're not my people. And I'm like, what the so they kick us out like another like 50 yards from where we were before. We're like, good God. And then we get another call from the original Uber lady, I guess. And she says she can't find us anywhere, but she's going to keep looking. I'm like, well, all right, we'll start walking out at least and try to find a place where we can meet you. And eventually cross paths with her. And she's saying sorry, she couldn't find us. And then that we need to go to the Chevron station now to get Band-Aids. I'm like, what? And she says that when looking for us, she got out of her car and walked around and stepped on glass and cut her foot. So I'm like, 1, why the hell aren't you wearing any shoes? 2, why did you get out of your car to look for us when we told you we're like right in the parking lot? You didn't need to cover more ground on foot, but who the hell knows? We're like, okay, so we're like losing our buzz quick. We're sitting there. This is taking like an hour and a half at this point. We could have just driven. We were going to try to go to this Cure after party thing that we saw online, but by this point, it was like, good God, we just got to get back to the hotel. So we're waiting for this lady to buy Band-Aids just sitting in the parking lot, which is funny because later in this episode, you'll hear Arusha ends up at the same Chevron station, so we're probably like minutes apart there too. But So she comes back out, didn't even buy the fucking Band-Aid, said they're too expensive, and that she was going to drive us home. She starts to drive, and I'm looking at her GPS, and it's going in a circle. She's like, this is weird. It's taking us in a circle. I'm like, yeah, sure is weird. We should probably just not drive in a circle, but so she eventually straightened that out, and we made it back to the hotel just in time for one drink at the hotel bar before they closed. But that was the Uber experience, and I felt kind of bad because my wife totally hates cabs and anything along those lines, and it always turns into something like that. But I was like, no, everyone loves Uber. There's no way this could go wrong. Ended up being like $32, but we didn't let it ruin our night, so that was good. The show was so good, and luckily my wife was able to snap out of it with a drink there, and we're like, well, let's go see if there's something here next to the hotel in Atlanta we can go check out. And so we wandered around. They're like, all the bars close at 12 here. We're like, well, that's kind of weird for a city. And then like it's starting to look a little sketchy. So we're like, oh, maybe that's why everything closes at 12 here in Atlanta. But we found one place, but it was like some kind of soul music karaoke that served like, I don't know, horrible looking diner food. We're like, yeah, this sucks. So we went back to the hotel and drank the few beers that we brought and called it a night. And had a nice hotel experience without the kid there to wake us up in the morning. So we were able to sleep in and have a good time. And yeah, so it was a shame about the Uber. But like I said, it didn't ruin the night. The Cure show was so good. And then I'll tell you one more non-concert directed tale, if you're bearing with me here, hopefully. The next morning, we're like, well, let's grab some breakfast before we head back. We checked in. Kid was doing good at the friend's house still. So we're like, let's get some real breakfast. And we found this like cool-looking local restaurant called Homegrown that apparently had great breakfasts. And it was awesome. It turned out to be so good. The food was just delicious, like, biscuits and gravy kind of place. And there was a wait, it was all packed inside this small building. So we're like, normally we have to steer away from those things when you have a kid, but we're like, we don't have a kid, we'll wait an hour, we don't give a shit. So we're hanging out drinking coffee, and I got talking to a girl. I was wearing my tour shirt from the night before, and she was like, oh, were you at the Cure show? And she was really nice. I unfortunately didn't catch her name, so if you're listening to this, thanks for chatting us up there while we waited to be seated. But she was from Atlanta, had gone to Charlotte too, and had a great time, and was telling us all about the restaurant and just her Cure fans and friends and stuff. And so it was cool. There was definitely people that were hanging out from the show. And we finally got our seats and got some great food. And then when I was paying up, the guy at the restaurant, he's like, yeah, man, everybody here wanted to go to the show so bad, but, we had to open the restaurant super early and had all these excuses for not going, but they all were sad and had been listening to Disintegration on loop or something that morning there. And it was awesome as I was paying up, and he's like, and he leans in kind of quiet, and he's like, yeah, man, you know what? I lost my virginity to Plain Song, man. I was like, oh, shit, wow. And he's like, well, no, not like Plain Song. I mean, the whole album, Disintegration. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool, too, I was like, well, as long as you made it past the chimes, man, you did good. And he's like, hell yeah. It was just such a Disintegration virginity bro moment, and we didn't high five, but in my imagination I feel like we should have. But I thought it was pretty sweet that he still shared that story with me. Is kind of inappropriate to his workplace as it probably was, but he was just wanting to know all the details of the show and what they ended with. I guess that's how it started. He was like saying, what they close with, what did they open with, and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, they opened with Plain Song. And he's like, yeah, man, I lost my virginity to that song. I was like, yeah, dude. So anyway, that was my weird Cure experience there. And we headed home, got more traffic, more heat. And listened to the B-sides the whole way back, and the depression started to kick in, where it dawned on us, this is it. This could possibly be the last time I ever see the Cure. I know that's kind of the running joke with them, is that, it's always the last tour or whatever. But, like I said, I'm not one of the followers as far as every show on the tour kind of thing. So I don't know how many destination shows I'm going to get with a kid, but hopefully they can hang in there a little while longer, and maybe long enough to take my little guy to a Cure show and have that be his first show. So I'm holding out hope, but it's still always a little sad with the Cure. You never know when the last time's going to be. And, I hope it wasn't. But if it is, that's my 10th show, and they were all life-changing, amazing concerts that I'd probably put as my 10 favorite concerts. There's been a lot of other great shows that aren't Cure shows, of course, but each Cure show is special, and this was no exception, and maybe even the best one. That first Wish tour one will probably be my number one concert ever, just for excitement value and how much I enjoyed it. But as far as the Cure's playing, just being so tight, as we've mentioned, and Arusha and her friends have mentioned, it's amazing on this tour how just amazingly tight this band is, and flawless. Everything has just been so precise and right on. You would think a band would start to just get a little sloppy in their older years or whatever, but they really are tighter than I've ever heard or seen them on any live clips or videos or other times that I've seen them live, and that's pretty amazing. I think hopefully they continue to get more praise for this tour, because I think it was something special that people are going to talk about for a long time. And I don't know, I don't want to let it all end. It was such a build up to all this. It was like 8 months ago when the tickets went on sale last November, I guess, and now it's just kind of done. So I don't know, and that's me, the anticipation of seeing them 2 nights. So I can't even imagine, the people that followed them around the whole tour, and then it's just over until who knows when. Last time before this, I guess, was the Reflection shows, and those were just kind of one-offs. So that wasn't even like a full tour. So it's been since like 2008 that they did that full tour for 413 Dream. So man, I hope it isn't that long again. But like I said, in this position, we can't really afford to be picky. We'll take what we can, and hopefully we can all manage to see him one more time at least. So, but anyway, that was my night in Atlanta, and I won't babble on by myself too much longer, but I hope for those that couldn't make it, that was enough of a play-by-play. I know I talked about eating and traffic and stuff more than the actual show, but trying to give you the full experience. So I'm going to hand it off to Arusha. She's got some people she meets up with before the show, and then gives a little rundown of the actual show, and then a nice fitting tribute to wrap it all up. So I'll see you at the other side there.
Let's just talk. So I'm here in Atlanta. This is my last show on the tour, which makes me very sad. And I have with me
Juliana.
Juliana, where are you from?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey, but I live in Georgia now, Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. That's so romantic.
My name is Ben, and I live in Georgia as well, Savannah.
Nice. And you were just telling me that you went to the New York shows?
Yeah, we actually had our 7-year wedding anniversary, and it was kind of the catalyst for going up there, and it was the day before, but yeah, we caught the first night, which was amazing. Like, I've been a fan since the 80s, and that was my first show. So
that was your first Cure show?
Yeah, it was. I should have gone in 92 for the Wish tour, but I was kind of like,
Really?
Friday I'm in love. I was supposed to go with friends, and I was getting ready to go to college, and I didn't go, and I regretted it ever since.
Right.
So we went to Madison Square Garden, and then we were like, screw it, we have to come here because it's like 4 hours away from where we live. So we drove up today, and here we are, ready for an amazing show.
What were your thoughts on Madison Square Garden?
Oh, it was awesome. I've only been to New York a handful of times, and Jules grew up there, so it's
you did?
Well, New Jersey, right out there.
Yeah.
So I got to see her side of it a little bit, and just seeing the Cure in Madison Square Garden. It's pretty intense. So it was an amazing show. They played everything I wanted to hear.
I would have preferred a little more deeper cuts, but it was cool still hearing Burn, and most of Disintegration was amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to say that Jules, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Jules. Julie. Wait, is it Julie or Jules?
Jules.
Jules is wearing this necklace that I have to take a picture of. It says "Into the Sea, You and Me," and
He gave it to me.
Where did you find this beautiful
Found
necklace?
it on Etsy.
In my bag.
Found it on Etsy.
Oh my God. Her fucking bling, as you would call it. I met this guy who made this button.
Yeah, this one?
No, this one. It's
I have my Pinterest as like almost like well over 2,000 pins. It's Why Can't I Be You? It's everyone like repins my Robert Smith pins.
What do you
for him? I do.
What do you think it is about the Cure that makes us, like I've been to frickin' 100 shows. Am I a nutcase or what?
No, and what from what you were saying, on some of the, your travels, I think it really does relate to you differently at different times in your life, because I like songs now that I would have never even paid it. My first primer to The Cure was like Standing on the Beach and all the B-sides.
Right.
So I was like, New Day, I'm Cold, like all those weird.
Right.
And I was like, ugh, Caterpillar and all. But now I like a lot of the upbeat stuff because I'm in my 40s and I don't have to, I'm in a different point in my life. And I just think that I grow with them. And I think Robert's aged and it's just still as beautiful. I love the new stuff. Not all of it, but most of it.
I know, right? I mean,
Stars would be amazing if the sun went down and he
Sleep
played
When
that.
I'm Dead, yeah.
Definitely. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear Kyoto's song live. I know they have been playing that. It's kind of like a personal favorite, or Primary, because
Those are two songs you could probably hear.
Yeah, anything from Faith. Of course, in Madison Square Garden, we got to see Pornography, which was great. And, Robert's new song's all emotional for him. But I love, if they play whatever they play, I'll be happy.
Right. Well, thanks you guys for reporting. Encore 1 vibe. Oh my God. I'm such a Cure nerd. We just witnessed a Simon and Robert moment, everybody. Let's see what he says.
It's funny though when you pick up your guitar and it's hot. It's I've forgotten how it goes. It's like playing a radiator that's slightly out of tune. It's like playing a radiator that is perfectly in tune.
This is the Encore 2 vibe, I believe. Maybe even Encore 3, I don't know. They just played Burn. They played A Forest. What did they play before Burn? I forgot. Oh, Shake Dog Shake.
Yeah, Shake Dog Shake.
So there's a lot of energy. There's lighters. Up, here's the flashlight. Cue the screaming. Atlanta's a great choice for an ending night. Here it is.
It's funny, you kind of get used to the heat. It's like you forget how cold it ever felt like. You must all go on holiday to like Greenland or somewhere, surely. If you don't, you should. You'd fucking love it. It's freezing cold.
Is this Encore 3 or 4? I think it's 3.
3.
Yeah. Then maybe people are passing around some cocaine. Crowd is super into it. Band seems super into it. And for Megan, Jennifer, and I, it's our last show for a while. Oh! Imagine dark, sweaty, people are smoking cigarettes. All right. This is Arusha reporting for the Holy Hour podcast. And my last show in Atlanta. Tonight was definitely better than last night. It felt like a complete set. As at the beginning of the show, I came in and was able to go right up to the front row for the Twilight Sad, and there was a girl named Dana who found me online, and we were dancing together to the Twilight Sad, and that was wonderful. And there was another girl. It was all coming together quite nicely. So that was nice. It was a nice good night to the Twilight Sad. I'm in denial that this is my last Cure show, everybody. Pausing. Gavin, where are you? Gavin is here with his wife and small child.
Arusha, right?
Yes.
In New York.
Hey! Andres, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm recording. What do you think of...
I have to say, very quickly, because I need to rush. I'm already late for my ride. But too poppy for my taste. This is the third outdoor show now, and well, 2 was enough.
You think it's the outdoor versus indoor? Very interesting. Andres is running away. He's from Sweden. He lives in London.
Variation, and Atlanta is too humid for a Scandinavian like me, so not the best experience, but a Cure show is always a Cure show. So, well, I'm kind of happy anyway.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you in Spain.
Right. I'll see you soon. Europe.
See you in Spain.
Hi.
Hi.
We met a long time ago, and yeah. And then I started tagging along with them.
So what's your name?
Carrie.
And you're from?
I'm from Atlanta.
You're from Atlanta, and
Emmy, and I'm from California, the Bay Area.
and you know the Antenna Girls,
Yes.
aka Sasha, Chris, and Autumn. You know that Autumn's my roommate. I mean, my downstairs neighbor now.
Yeah, I know she moved to Brooklyn. So we lived in Portland, or we lived in San Francisco at the same time, then Portland, and now I know she's left LA for New York, and she's her neighbor. I love her. I texted her the other night. I was thinking of her, and then when she was at the MSG shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do these? Have you been to other shows on this tour?
Just one this time.
How do your 2 shows compare to the Bloodflowers experience?
I guess Bloodflowers tour, I really was kind of convinced it was our last tour. I kind of bought it.
Yeah, I did too. We all did.
Everyone
did.
So I feel like my approach to the shows was a little different. I was kind of like, they felt a little more precious in a way or something.
Sorry.
And I feel like I also had plugged into like a community of people who were touring at that time. And this time I'm just this is just my second show. But the shows themselves are really different. The 2 shows that I've seen, Robert seemed to have like really, seemed really happy, really upbeat energy, like the San Jose show, and then this one. Were you in California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What brought you to Atlanta out of all shows?
I just wanted to go to the last 3. I was supposed to be in New York, Boston, DC, Charlotte, all of those, and then I had some work stuff that wouldn't allow me to go, so I knew that.
So you went to Atlanta, were you in Charlotte?
No, just Atlanta and the 2 Miamis, and then I'm going to be in England
Actually,
and
go on
Spain.
online to buy a t-shirt.
Ah. And what about you?
Just this show.
Just tonight.
Just tonight.
What are your thoughts about tonight?
Honestly, this is my first Cure show ever, so I enjoyed it. I mean, there are a lot of other songs I would have liked to have heard, but
like what?
Like stuff like off of
the thing that I let's check.
Say it's 17
The walk,
seconds.
let's go to bed, or I don't know, something Japanese whispers, or I don't
Right,
know,
right.
like old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me the show was weird because I thought it was going to be a lot darker. Like it started, I was like, oh, this is like a Disintegration set. We're going to get similar stuff to what was in New York maybe. And then when they played Shake Dog Shake, I was like, oh, we're going to get a really weird, dark, like quirky encores. And then it ended up just being really poppy and fun, which is nice. But like, I'm kind of holding out for some faith.
All right, guys. Thank you for your contributions. I have to go find Gavin of the Holy Hour podcast at the Bud Light station.
Arusha, I'm going to miss we're going to miss you on the rest of from Miami.
Are you not going to Miami?
No, I'm not.
Fuck. Are you going to Hawaii?
No. I need to go home and make a living. Where is he? Gavin, I don't know where you are. There's a million Bud Light things. I can't find you, so... All right, we're just going to try to find Mike, and we're going to leave, because... Seriously. And now I can't find Mike. That was a really... I'm really happy that we came to this show, because if we had ended in Charlotte...
Right.
It would have been super bummer.
I'm also, I'm glad that we went to Columbia, because originally we were thinking just Charlotte and Atlanta. And Columbia was such a great set list and show. And I got to see Sinking there, which I wanted to see. So I'm definitely glad we went to all three of these.
Yeah, I mean, Megan was with me on the first show of the Bloodflowers tour ever. And that was here. 16 years ago, the opening, and this is my closing.
Right. Yeah.
Total parking lot mess. But I felt like the band sounded really tight tonight. I felt like the energy was great. You know what was interesting? He didn't play
any of the new songs.
Yeah. My ears are ringing so loudly right now. It's crazy.
I actually took out my earplugs halfway through. I took them out during Prayers for Rain because I was just like, I get in my ears.
So, I just have to say that we stopped at what is this? A Chevron, and I bought clove cigarettes, which I don't usually buy, for $5, dude. In Atlanta, in New York, they would have been $15.
Millions of taxes.
It's insane. Flying from JFK tomorrow.
Yeah, I got really emotional during Close Down, and I think my brother passed away earlier this year, and this tour for me has also been kind of an escape from family situations. And I don't know, for some reason it just hit me during Close Down, and also because it's the last show, I think, and so I was crying. Yeah, and I've always liked Close Down, but I guess I never really... I guess I have to really go back and think of what those lyrics mean.
Close Down and Last Dance on this tour have been just impeccable. Like, so close to the recording. The pop hits are turning into, like, alternative versions of themselves. But Close Down and Last Dance sound like, I don't know, they just remind me of the prayer tour I never saw. And like that time period. You know?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that concludes our 2016 tour coverage. Thanks so much to Arusha, not only for this episode, but for all of them on the whole tour, and being such a pro and such a good sport, and willing to reach out to all of us, for all of us, and share this with all of us. And thanks so much to everybody else that contributed, whether it made the edits or not, or just talked to Arusha in general on these tours, and just showing what a cool batch of fans the Cure have. So thanks so much, Arusha. Please check out her upcoming film, Push, Cure Fan Documentary. It's still in the works, but you can go on over to curefandocumentary.com to donate some money to help out with post-production And you can latch on to all the social media so you don't miss any updates on how you can further help or just keep an ear out for its progress at this point. So more information on that as it develops, but please go check it out, and check her out on Instagram at CureFanDoc, and you can get all the latest scoops. Thanks again so much, Arusha. It was great meeting you and hearing your stories, and we look forward to talking to you more. This won't be the end. It sounds like we're going to try to get one. We want to do a full episode, just full your background story, everything. We want that Arusha episode. I think everybody does at this point to know the full backstory, and there's got to just be so many great Cure stories in there that we want to hear. So that'll happen, and we want to do like a wind down too. So maybe we'll still be hearing lots from Arusha. So don't worry. If she's willing, we want her here on the show. So thanks so much. And in this episode, again, please. Just want to say thank you to Juliana and Ben from Savannah, Georgia, that kicked off the pre-show conversation with Arusha. Megan, again, thanks so much. Always great to hear you talking Cure. And Andreas came back there, so that was good to catch those guys while Arusha was looking for me, and as well as Emmy and Mike and Carrie from Atlanta. So thanks so much, and thanks to Jason Cooper for doing our ID there at the start of the episode. We'll be using that probably in every episode now for the rest of the lifespan of this podcast. So thanks so much to Jason Cooper. You're not only an amazing drummer, but clearly an amazing person, and we all love you. So thanks so much, and be sure to subscribe on iTunes. You can get all the latest episodes of the Holy Hour. We're gonna keep them coming. So please keep listening, rate us, rank us, what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. We have thick skin. We can take it. Let us know. You can also sign up on the Facebook page to keep threads for specific episodes going. So on Facebook, just look up the Holy Hour Podcast, and you should be able to find the group and just jump on in. And on Instagram, we have the Holy Hour Podcast on Instagram. So latch on there too and hashtag away. It should cover it all. If you want to directly just drop me an email. Again, we've been getting some really nice emails, so thanks so much to everybody for writing in, and keep them coming. I love to know what your opinions are on these things. The whole bottom line of this podcast is just to show how diverse and what the wide range of Cure fans are out there, and we want to hear from all of you, die hard to the casual fan. Even the haters, why not? So drop me a line, Gavin Conner. Connor is ER, so gavinconner at gmail.com. So drop me a message, and thanks so much for listening. It's been a blast, and we'll catch up with some non-tour podcasts here coming up next. So talk hard.
Hello, this is Jason Cooper. You're listening to the Holy Air Podcast.